Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. We're going to be making a text-based adventure game in Python today. Now this is a really quick and easy way to do it. What we're going to use is subroutines. So first we make a subroutine to represent a scene in our adventure game. So I'm just going to call this one room, and the syntax is def, which stands for define. And then after that, you give your room in your adventure a name. Now, it does have to be all one word. So if you had this as, I don't know, bedroom, all one word, no space, because otherwise you're going to get an error and it's not going to work. So you can choose whatever name you want for each of your rooms, but it has to be all one word with no spaces. Next, you have the open and closed brackets and then a colon. Now, when you hit enter, it's going to be tabbed in from where you write your code, and that is completely normal. It needs to be tabbed in to be inside of the subroutine, okay? So here we can just set the scene for our adventure game. You know, welcome to the game. So the idea of most of these kind of games is you give the user options of where to go. So you set the scene, you tell them where they are, and then you give them a couple of choices. Left, right, forward, back, pick up item, yes, no. You give them a few options. Now the next thing you have to do is you have to make a variable. So I'm going to call this choice because they're making a choice of direction, and you set it equal to input. Now what this code does, it gets whatever they type in on the keyboard, left or right, and it stores it in the variable we've created called choice. Now what we can do is we can check what's inside of that variable. So what have they entered in on the keyboard? So we can go if whatever's inside of choice double equals this time, and if we go left in speech marks, that's important, colon, and then we can decide which room we're going to take them to next. So I'm going to make this one called forest and open and close brackets. Now this is what's called a call to a subroutine. So what will happen in a minute, we're going to make another subroutine, call it forest, and if they choose left, the code will jump that to the forest room. And then I'm going to go else, put a colon in, and I don't know, call this one waterfall. These are just going to be names for the rooms. So now if I make the other rooms, I go def forest, open and close brackets, that, and then I can do a print statement in here. You are in a dark and scary forest. There we go. And then let's just do the other one. So the other one was waterfall, def waterfall. There we go, open close brackets, colon again, and then another print statement to say you hear the sound of falling water, which you would really if you were next to a waterfall, like so. So this is the basic setup. Now, to make my code work, at the moment, nothing will happen if I run the code. It's going to ignore all of this and not do a thing. To make your code work, you have to decide whichever room they're going to start in. You use the name of it and the open and close brackets. So if I want my adventure to start with this, I have to type room, open and close brackets, right on the far left of the screen. And it will start from here. If I wanted it to start in this room, I would have just typed forest, open and close brackets. Now at this point, our code will now work. It doesn't do very much yet, but we've got the beginnings of our game. So if we save this and give it a suitable name, I'm just going to call this adventure game, and we run it. Now we get a choice, well, it's the game, you're in a clearing, do you go left or right? If I type left in, there we go, we're in a dark and scary forest. So we have the beginnings of a game. Now, obviously, at the moment, it's pretty boring because we can only go, to two different rooms. Now, what we can do now is if we want to quickly make our game bigger, I can copy that first part of the code, paste it in here, and then do the same in here. So now I've got more options. I can go, you're in a dark, scary forest. I can go forward or back. So I'm giving them another couple of options. And I can say, if they go forward, then they're going to go back to the original room, like so. Otherwise, they're going to end up in the waterfall. And then from the waterfall, if they go left, I could say, take them back to the forest. So they jump back to here. Else, we can go take them back to the original starting room. So when I'm typing in these commands here, this is saying, right, if they choose left, jump the code back to here. If they choose anything else other than left, take them back to the start room. So now, very rapidly, just by copying and pasting, changing a couple of things, I've now got, very small still, but a fully playable game now, where, if I go left, I get to a dark, scary forest. If I go back, I end up with the sound of falling water. Now, the one thing I've missed out, of course, is I haven't given them a clue yet as to how to get back from there. So I can say, left or right. And now when I run my code, it will give me all of the options. So, welcome to game, left or right. Go left again. Forward or back. Well, I'm going to go back because that sounds pretty scary, to be fair. Falling water, left or right. Let's go right this time. And I've gone back to the beginning. So now I've got the options of playing my game. Different things will happen. Now, obviously, when you come to make your game, in your print statements, you can make this about whatever you want. So you could set it in space, you can set it on a different planet, on Mars, perhaps a Martian colony. You can literally set it anywhere you want. And this is where you tell the story inside the print statements. Make sure you give them a choice of where to go so that the user knows what to type in. Make sure you have a variable to store whatever they input from the keyboard. And then your if-else statement. In the if statement, one of them will be one of these two options, left or right, and the else means if they don't choose left, if they type in anything else, it will default to that. So it's pretty bulletproof. And then you literally decide, which room you're going to do next. Now, if I wanted to, very quickly, I could copy and paste this again underneath, and I can rapidly extend my code. So I could call this something else completely. So, this could be house, for example. Maybe there's a creepy house in the woods. I can then change this, like you find a creepy house. Do you go in? And yes or no. So I'm giving them again, a key. What are they going to type in? And then I can put, if choice equals yes, then perhaps I could take them to, make a new one here called creepy house. Yeah, and I can keep going from there, and then I can make a new subroutine called creepy house. So this is a really rapid way to quite quickly make an adventure game that's fun and very playable. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. What I'll do next time is I'll show you how to make a few more things happen within your game, and we'll cover things like inventory, so you can pick up items, put them down, and battle scenes as well. Okay, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.